Do you want to spark a lifelong love for English in your students? But where do you begin? What if the answer was as simple as once upon a time? It truly is. Welcome to Fairy Tales, graded readers for young learners. Published by Education Publishing, a magical new series designed to transform English learning into an adventure. With 12 captivating tales from the beloved Brothers Grimm, this series will guide your young learners on an unforgettable journey. This carefully structured series is perfectly aligned with the Common European Framework, CEFR, and follows the official word lists and syllabus of the Cambridge YLE exam, starters, movers, and flyers. We begin this enchanting journey with level pre-A1, starters, like taking your very first step into a vibrant, magical garden. Imagine your students' delight as they step into the pond with the ugly duckling, feeling his loneliness turn to joy as he transforms. They'll hold their breath as the princess discovers true love's kiss alongside the frog prince, breaking an ancient spell. Picture them exploring a cozy cottage with Snow White and the 7 dwarves, sharing their tiny meals and sweet dreams. And they'll puzzle over the mysterious, tricky name of Rumpelstiltskin, eager to uncover his secret. These beloved characters leap from the page in simple, inviting English, guaranteeing immediate success and igniting that vital spark of what happens next. Now, watch their skills blossom and their imaginations soar as they progress to Level 2, A1, Movers, like wandering deeper into an enchanted forest, discovering new paths and hidden wonders. The adventure deepens as they dance in the enchanted castle with Beauty and the Beast, discovering true beauty within. They'll bravely tiptoe through the deep woods alongside Little Red Riding Hood, encountering both danger and friendship. Students will marvel as Thumbelina, a tiny girl born from a flower, embarks on a perilous journey where she escapes a scheming toad with a fish's help, finds refuge with a demanding field mouse, and is eventually carried to happiness by a kind bird. Then they'll feel the thrilling climb up the towering stalk with Jack and the Beanstalk, facing giants and finding treasure. Here, we gently expand vocabulary and introduce slightly more complex sentences, keeping them utterly hooked. Finally, prepare to be amazed as they reach Level 3, A2, Flyers, like ascending to the royal castle in the clouds, where the views are grand and every challenge is mastered. They'll fall down the rabbit hole into the whimsical, nonsensical world of Alice in Wonderland, where they'll encounter bizarre characters like the Mad Hatter and the Queen of Hearts in a truly bewildering adventure. They'll discreetly observe the townspeople's reactions to the king's new clothes, learning about honesty and perception. Your students will carefully sample the porridge and try the chairs with the curious Goldilocks and the 3 bears, understanding consequences. And they'll embark on a whirlwind journey down the yellow brick road with Dorothy, her scarecrow, Tin Woodman, and Cowardly Lion, seeking the wizard only to discover their own inner wisdom, heart, and courage were there all along. At this level, the vocabulary is richer, the plots more intricate, and the English more nuanced. Students aren't just decoding words, they're truly living the stories, applying every skill they've built to grasp complex plots and characters. Each story leaps to life with beautiful illustrations, includes a helpful picture glossary and reading comprehension questions. But the magic extends online. Enhance listening skills with UK accent audiobooks.
The Ugly Duckling. It is a nice day. A mother duck is watching her eggs.
And for truly dynamic vocabulary mastery, dive into our fantastic online interactive vocabulary exercises. Plus, for easy assessment and to efficiently check student progress, answer keys for all questions and exercises are conveniently provided online. by consistently leveraging the universal, immersive appeal of these 12 magical fairy tales. Fairy Tales, Graded Readers for Young Learners transforms English learning into a cohesive and exciting adventure. Discover the full series and transform your children's English journey at eduhome.io today. Fairy Tales, Graded Readers for Young Learners, where young learners immerse in endless adventure.
Good morning, educators. Good morning, everyone. A very warm welcome. Good morning. A very warm welcome to all of you to today's webinar, Nurturing a Love for English Through Graded Readers, the why, what, and how. It's so great to have you here with us. Thank you for making the time to join from wherever you are in the world. I'm Phương Nguyễn, and I'm absolutely delighted to be your moderator for this exciting session. Ladies and gentlemen, as English becomes increasingly central to early education in many countries, teachers of young learners are looking for effective ways to build language skills while keeping students engaged. Graded readers offer a powerful tool to support this process, yet questions remain about how best to select and use them. This workshop explores the purpose, potential and practical strategies for using graded readers in the classroom with insights drawn from real teaching experiences. So before we dive in, let's take a moment to appreciate the truly global nature of our gathering today. We're thrilled to be joined by passionate teachers from Albania, Algeria, Australia, Cambodia, France, Germany, Japan, Laos, India, Italy, Pakistan, the Philippines, Romania, Sri Lanka, South Africa, the Virgin Islands, Turkey, Thailand, the United Kingdom, the United States, Vietnam, Zimbabwe, and many more. It's truly amazing to have such a diverse and inspiring group with us today. I wish that if this is actually like we have a stage and stuff, we would have like give a big applause right now. But anyway, let's give a virtual applause. And now allow me to introduce our distinguished participants. As I introduce our guests, I'll do my best with my pronunciations, but please forgive me if I don't get it quite perfect. From DTP Education Solution Laos, Miss Safafoni Thongsavanva, the Managing Director. From DTP Education Solution Cambodia, Dr. Puthi Touch, Managing Director. And we have Mr. Francis Tran, Training Manager, DTP Education Solutions. Very welcome to all of you. And last but not least, our speaker today, Mr. Thái Đoàn. Very welcome, Mr. Thái Đoàn. Before we begin, I would like to invite Mr. Francis Tran, Training Manager of DTP Education Solutions, to deliver the opening speech.
Thank you. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all of you joining us from different corners of the world. It's a great pleasure to welcome you to the webinar today, Nurturing a Love for English Through Graded Readers, Why, What, and How. As English becomes increasingly central to early education in many countries, we as educators are constantly searching for ways to build language skills while keeping our young learners inspired. Today's session takes us on a journey into one of the most powerful tools at our disposal, graded readers. Together, we will explore why graded readers matter in language development, what they can offer beyond just a story, and most importantly, how to integrate them meaningfully in our classroom. We also delighted to share real voices from the file, including a feature case study and teachers' insights that brings today's topic to life. It's a real honor to have with us our speaker, Mr. Thái Đoàn, a passionate and deeply experienced educator. We're thrilled to help him guide us through today's section. And on behalf of DTP Corporation, well, thank you once again for being here with us. We hope you will find today's discussion both inspiring and practical as you continue to nurture a love for English in your learners. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Francis, for your opening remarks. Ladies and gentlemen, before we get started, just a few quick housekeeping notes. So, yes, your e-certificate and sample materials will be sent to your email after this webinar. So no need to worry, you have everything you need. We'll have a Q&A session at the end of the workshop. If you have any questions for our speaker during the session today, feel free to drop them in the chat box. We'll make sure they get addressed one by one at the end. Please use the chat box instead of the Q&A box so that we could easily collect all of your questions. And for a smooth experience for everyone, we'll be keeping microphones muted throughout the session. Thank you so much for your understanding. So we've now come to the most anticipated part of today's event. Allow me a moment to introduce our speaker today, Mr. Thái Doan, who is based in Australia now. Mr. Thái Doan is a passionate and experienced educator with 3 master's degrees, including a Master of TESOL, a Master of Teaching, Secondary Education from Victoria Universities, and a Master of Special Education from Torrens University. He specializes in literacy and numeracy support for students with additional learning needs, using evidence-based strategies to foster reading engagement, comprehension, and confidence. Committed to inclusive and culturally responsive teaching, Thái has a strong interest in empowering learners of all abilities and backgrounds through language education. So, before our speaker begins his presentation, just a quick reminder that if you have any questions at all during the session, please type them in the chat box rather than the Q&A box. This will help us collect and organize your questions to share with Mr. Thái Doan during the Q&A at the end. And now it's time to hear from our speaker. So please join me in warmly welcoming Mr. Thái Doan as he takes us into today's session. Mr. Thái, over to you.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you. First of all, thank you so much for coming to the webinar today. And I am so excited to see you guys today and very excited to share my experience. I'm here just to bring what I know to the best of my knowledge. I'll bring it here on this webinar for you and hope that you like it today. And I'm going to share the screen. Before that, I just want one simple question. Did you have breakfast already, guys? Do you have your coffee and tea next to you? Yeah. Okay, make sure that you prepare enough drinks and food so that we can start a little smoothly today. All right, let me start. Okay, so before we start today, I just have a few questions to ask you. Right, the first one. Can you please just think about this question and answer in your mind? Yeah, are your students ready to read? What does it mean ready to read? Yeah, are they able to hold the book? Are they able to point at the book or look at the pictures or choose their own book? Just think about that. The second one, are they independent readers? So what do you mean by independent readers? It means that the readers, they need no support at all. They just grab the book, sit down and read and explore what they really wanted to see, what they really wanted to know. Think about your student and think about that, like, do they need any support to become an independent reader? And the next one, in your classroom, are all of the students at the same reading levels? Because we know that, like, we have good readers, but sometimes we got students struggling to read. So are they all the same reading levels or they have different levels in the classroom? And how are you going to support them with this? And how about your text, your books? The books that you provide them, are they appropriate to their reading levels? Is it too easy for them to read or is it too difficult for them to read? And what makes a great storybook for the young learners? Okay, so can I just give you one spare minute And then you think about these questions before I can move on. All right. Yeah, let me go next. So these are just simple questions that we think about our students. And the big question is that, how? How are you going to help your student from 0 to hero? I mean, like from nothing to everything. How can you help your student from having no interest at all in reading and bring them and help them to find a love to read? And how are you going to help your student from struggling in reading? They find it very, very, very difficult to read, to become an independent reader and find a love in readings. And how? How do you nurture the love for English learning through the creative readers? So that is our big questions today, and that is the main purpose of our webinar. All right, can we go next? And the agenda today, we are going to address D. Okay, first of all, I am going to explain why graded readers matter in the language development, especially the language learning for the second language learners, ESL learner. And then we are going to explore the what to bring to the student beyond just a story. Okay, what is more interesting than just reading, than just having a book? Okay, and next one, okay, I will focus on this part, the how. Okay, I'm going to share my experience in teaching reading by using the creative readers in my lessons. And I'm here not to teach anything, I'm just share my experience. And maybe after you're listening, if it is suitable for your context, you're welcome to apply. And if it's a little bit different from your context, I'm really, really happy to listen to your feedback and share and listen to your voice. If you want to share your own story at the end of the workshop today, the webinar today, yeah, you are invited to share your voices. Yeah, and number 4, the voices from the teachers and the future case study. All right, that is the agenda. All right, before we get into the main part, I just want to remind about the ZPD theory. So most of my teaching practice based on this theory, and all of us know that this theory comes from Vygotsky, the zone of proximal development. As you can see on the screen now, the learning is going from what we already know to what we want to know. So you can see in the green circle is what the student already know. That is their current knowledge or their previous knowledge. And the yellow circle is what they need to know or what the teacher wants the student to know. And how can we move the learning from what is already known to what is not known? So as a teacher, we are the supporter. We support the student to reach that goal, to reach that level. Okay, on the right-hand side, you can see that if learning is too easy or if reading is too easy, it's gonna be very boring. Can you imagine if you give them a book, a 10-year-old, a book with a basic like ABC or something very easy, they're gonna get bored and they don't wanna read. And if learning is gonna be very difficult or reading, the book you give them is very difficult, a lot of vocabulary that they need to know. So it's gonna be very hard and they cause anxiety for them to read. And of course, they don't want to read too. And as a teacher, we use this theory to help the student step by step. From step number 1, we support them, we scaffold them. And step number 2, we reduce the level of support and to make them become level 3, independent learning. And from that lifelong learning, they automaticalization to learn. So they find the book, they know the need, and they search for the book to read. So this is the theory that we use it for the teaching and also in reading. So if I'm too fast or too quick, please just slow me down, okay? Yeah, and another question before we start, is what is a graded reader. So I know that like many of you, you have your graded reader in your classroom already, but maybe this is a new concept to some new teachers or just newly graduate teachers. And this is good to know that we have graded reader that support a lot in the language development. And if you use it would be a benefit, a good point to your language teaching. So a graded reader, it is a book written for language learner, especially English learner in your country, in Vietnam, in Cambodia, and in some country that English is not the first language. So the language in this book are simplified and the vocabulary are controlled so that it meets the level of the reader. So it is not just to make sure that not very difficult or not too easy for them to read. So they have different levels. So the reader can find the appropriate level to read so that they can enjoy the book and they read it easily and enjoy what they are reading. In this book, they include limited vocabulary, not too hard for them, and they are sufficient enough for them to learn. And the grammar is appropriate for their proficiency. And this book, they organize in different levels. As you can see on your right-hand side, this is a series from the fairy tales. So they have like 3 levels from easy to higher level. So this is in accordance with the European framework from A1, A2, B1. And it supports the gradual progression in reading skills. And the third one, these books are designed for different ages and different interests. The topics and the story are really appropriate for young learners. Especially you can see that these are the fairy tales, which is very suitable for young learner under 12 years old, and they feel fine. I will talk about this more later today. And the format in the print. So you can see we have printed version. We know that our learner, they learn in different ways. Some prefer to read, some prefer to watch, and some prefer to listen. And we have different versions of this book. We have the printed one, we have the audio one, and we have the audio and printed at the same also. Yeah. And in this book, we have illustration, we have support features that included in here. For example, like the pictures to help with understanding. We've got the glossaries, the vocabulary list, or the activities and questions for their comprehension. And sometimes it comes with the audio or listening practice in the book here. And usually these books have 2 types. One is originally story, written especially for learner, and the other 2 is from the popular of the famous book in the world that is simplified, that is adapted so that is appropriate to the reader. And you can see that this series, we have some famous story, fairy tales here, like The Ugly Duckling, Beauty and the Beast, Alice in Wonderland. So these are famous, and we simplify it so that the young learner, they also can read and enjoy themselves. So these are the graded reader. So at this point, my question is that, have you ever used graded reader to teach in your classroom, especially teaching English? And if you did so, how did you do that? And was it successful to use these? All right, so this is just a question for you to think, and at the end of the workshop today, so I'm happy to listen to your sharing. All right, this is a question for you. Why reading is very important to language development? Can I have some opinions, please? Okay, you can type in the chat box. Can you give me some reason why reading is very important in English learning? Anyone, please? Hello? Yeah, thank you for your idea. All right, this is a discussion questions. Yeah, improve vocabulary. That's right. Thank you, Seth. Develop your language. That's right. Because it's one of receptive skill that help learner to produce the language. Yeah, that's right. Can read everything in real life. Lovely. Enrich the learner knowledge. I love the idea. Okay, so reading can enrich the learner knowledge. Reading skill improves communication. Yeah, this is a good point. Build vocabulary and sentences. Personal development. Great. Yeah, you are great teachers. Thank you for your best idea. Lovely. I love to read the ideas. Everyone, you are invited to share your opinions, please. Just feel free to share because this is a discussion. Improve vocabulary and critical thinking. I love that idea. Yeah. Writing skill support as well. Yeah, reading and writing can be collaborated and integrated. I mean, get the ideas and concepts in language. I love that. Open mind for more creative idea. Love it. Yeah. Improve grammar and syntax. That's right. It's true. Yeah, keep going, everyone. Thank you. I can see that you are master of language. Enhancing writing skills builds a student craft. The other skill in language development. Yeah, okay. So as we are teachers and we know, and we have experience indeed, and we know, so this is, we understand that reading is very important in language development. So thank you, everyone. Reading plays a critical role in language development because it exposes learner to rich structures and diverse language input that support the vocabulary growth, grammar awareness, and comprehension skill, and especially, like you say, that cognitive development or critical thinking as well, or social awareness, and all of the other things that they need to do. So we got these backed by the research. Okay, so we have Naki and Anderson reported that reading is the single most important means for acquiring vocabulary. Kane, he claimed that through reading, children develop syntactic knowledge that support the language use. Reading comprehension is both a cause and consequence of language development by Hutchland. Readings build metalinguistic awareness that support broader language development by Coda. And extensive reading leads to improve overall proficiency in the second language. Yeah, okay. And that is about reading. How about graded readers? Graded readers, does it really help the student to learn the language? All right. Okay, so let me go into this one. Yeah, as I can see, that's a lot of you still share the idea. Thank you. If I have time at the end of the session today, I will spend time to read it. Okay, thank you for your sharing so much. So why graded readers matter? So the first point here, the most important point is that it is support the language development. Can you please have a look on the right side at the pyramid? And have a look at the components of the language learning here in reading. Okay, and you can see that from the bottom to the top. Okay, from the basic to the higher level, you can see in reading, we need to support student a lot of aspects like the concept of print, the letter sounds and phonics, phonic awareness, the knowledge building, vocabulary, I'm going up yet, reading fluency and expression, text structures and genres, oral language, reading comprehension strategies, and finally is reading comprehension. So this is the language development we need to integrate into reading. Yeah, and the graded readers are usually control vocabulary and grammar that is suitable for their improvement. So each student, they have different levels, and if we choose the right book for them to read, that is it good for their language development. It's help them to learn vocabulary, grammar, fluency, and especially make them feel confident in reading. And the second one, reading is not just reading. Okay, so reading must be a pleasure to read. So encourage reading for pleasure is very important, because if your students, if your child, they have interest in reading, they will automatically find a book to read. But if they are forced to read, they feel it's just like a burden and they don't want to read. Children are more likely, they make them want to read, not just have to read. So that's why we have the graded readers. They are appropriate to their levels. They are appropriate to their interests. That boosts their motivation to read. And the third one is the improved comprehension and imagination. So in the stories here, we have like how can I say that, like they have carefully chosen to support the understanding of a student, the sequence and improve the skill, for example, like sequencing skill or inferencing skills. And reading fiction stimulates the creativity, empathy. Okay, think about a time when you read a book, and how did you improve your imagination through reading? Think about the best book you read before. Think about the books that you really, really love, and how did it help you with the creativity and the imagination? So that's why we love graded readers here. Okay, through the reading, it just not only learn the language, it's more about beyond the reading, and I'm going to talk about it later. And graded readers, they are backed by research. There are a lot of research that show that reading with graded reader have a positive result in language learning, especially for ESL learner. And most important thing, also, we got the develop good reading habits. Okay, so now just answer by yourself that do you have a good reading habits? How often do you read? Do you read every day? Do you spend at least like 5 minutes or 10 minutes to read every day? If you can answer this question, think about your student. Do they need to develop a habit? Do you need to support them to have a good habit to read? And how? Will you bring them motivation to read? Will you boost their confidence to read? That's why, okay, so graded readers really matter in here. So they will help with regular, independent, and reading with purpose. Okay, I'm moving next. I have a very lot, before I'm moving next, have a look at this photo. You can see that children, especially in Australia, so they have a good reading habits, and they found love, they found joys in reading. So this is an example of graded readers. I showed you before that, and this is in the detail. So the series is the fairy tales. Graded readers for young learners is a reading series designed for children learning English as a foreign language. As you can see, we got 3 main levels and in 3 different colors from famous and popular stories in the world. Like we got The Ugly Duckling, we got Snow White and 7 Dwarfs, The Frog Prince. This is a book that The Frog Prince, I'm going to focus and use it as an example today. Okay, so the second level, we got Beauty and the Beast, Jack and the Beanstalk, Thumbelina, Little Red Riding Hood. So these are very popular, and I believe that like all of you or most of you know this story when we were little. So if you love this story, how can you transfer your love? How can you motivate your student the love of reading through this story? Think about these questions. And the King's New Clothes, Alice in Wonderland, The Windsor of Oz, okay, and Goldilocks and the Three Bears. So this story, when I was young, this reminds me of the time that when I was young. So I love listening to this story told by my father. But children nowadays, they are very lucky to have the creative readers. They have like books for them to read, for them to learn English, for them to explore their imagination. Yeah, okay, so nowadays they are very lucky, but this makes me remember the time that I love this story, and I wish that I have this book for me when I was little. Okay, so so the special about this book is that like it's aligned with the common European framework reference to support the learner from pre-English to level A2. If you do teaching starters, movers, and flyers in your country, so this book is also a plus. It is a benefit for the student, additional benefit for their learning English. And this series features some of the most beloved fairy tales from the world I told you already. Each story is beautiful, illustrated, includes a picture glossary, and is followed by simple reading, comprehension questions, and vocabulary exercises. And I'm going to show you later today. So I found this one is really helpful, and I'm going to use the Frog Prince, one of the book in the story, to do my example today. All right, as I told you so, reading is not just only reading. So what to bring the student beyond the story? So can you spend some minutes having a look at the two pictures, one on the left side and one on the right side? And please tell me what is the difference between the two pictures here. You are invited to share your idea through the chat box, please. Imagination, thank you, Chi. Anyone else, please? Interest, creative and active, lovely. Yeah. On the left side is about words and letters. On the right side, about idea. Know the information, prediction, the love. Yeah, we build a love in reading too. Sound, the music, and the video. The interest in reading. Okay, how is the boy on the left side? The boy on the left side, how does he look? And how does he feel when he holds the book there? Reading with the heart. Thank you. Analyzing, yet frustrated because a lot of words, a lot of letters. Create new ideas. That's right. Okay, reading book. So just like I said, like reading is not just only reading. It's more than that. What to bring to the student beyond the story. Through the story, what do they learn? And what can they get from the story, from the created readers? Yeah, knowledge, learning, spark some creative ideas. Anything else? So I can see on the right-hand side, so there are many question marks. The person, the boy in the right is clue in the book exploring. More powerful. Reasoning, thank you. Yeah, okay. So questioning, reasoning, when we do read book, so they will spark the idea. The student will have a lot of questions. Imagine when we were young, you listen to the story told by your father or your grandmother. Okay, you usually have some question. You ask why. You ask how can. Okay, these are very, very good questions for the kids to grow and to develop themselves. That improve their brain, improve their critical thinking or cognitive development. So yeah, so that is beyond the book, beyond the story. So thank you everyone for sharing. Let me have a look at the time because like I'm talking too much. So okay, yeah. Okay, we still have plenty of time to discuss today. And from basic reading and beyond reading, could anyone please share? Okay, so what is basic reading and beyond reading? So what do we do with the basic reading? Okay, now your turn to type and just have a little bit coffee. If you have coffee and tea, just feel free because this is a discussions and tea and coffee is good for you to spark your idea. Yeah, thank you. Make children more curious to explore the books. So basic reading is just improve reading skill and get information. Thank you, Chi. Can you be more specific about that? Okay, so what do we do with basic reading? Just read for fun? Yeah. Okay, I love the idea that just read for fun because we may teach students to read for a purpose as well. Get more information, read to relax. So now think about that you have a set of graded readers, a series of books, and you bring it into the classroom. So what are you going to use them? And what are you going to teach them? With basic reading, what do we do? And with beyond reading, what do we do? Student can compare with another story, real life situation, ability to read and comprehend the meanings, fluency. Yes, okay, so we teach the vocabulary. Yeah, that's right. Okay, we bring the book into the classroom for the purpose of English teaching. We teach them the vocabulary, teach them to read fluently. Yeah, and teach them to understand the text, comprehension, improve vocabularies. Yeah, vocabulary building the same. Improve the pronunciation is a good one. Yeah, appealing to curiosity. Allow them to read without judgment from anyone. Yeah, that's lovely. Yeah, that's what improve reading skill. Okay, can you speak more specific? Okay, so what are the reading skill that you want them to improve? Enhanced intonation. Lovely. Yeah. Develop active reading. Yep. Just feel free to share, everyone. Okay, so this is our workshop. This is our webinar. Not only my my opinions. I love. Okay, so I love to see your opinion as well because I'm learning from you. Everyone have different contexts. Everyone have different country from different countries. So maybe we bring the knowledge to this workshop, and I'm really appreciate that you bring your knowledge to this workshop, and everyone can have a share learning. Okay, so now this is the time that everyone you can read in the just box, okay, to see the other idea as well. When you read the other idea, maybe you can spark your own idea. And after this workshop today, after this discussion, you can bring the idea back into your classroom. And this is a plus point of this workshop. basic reading. Read to learn how the news works. Beyond the reading, read to understand the concept, idea, and the purpose of the writer. Yep, thank you, Fawn. All right, 2 more minutes, and then we move on. Can everyone share more, please? Connecting to the theme and characters vocabulary. Beyond reading, improve comprehension. That's right. Okay, so I love the idea, history, culture, and the values. Yeah, beautiful. Communication skills. Hi, how do we improve the communication skill through reading? That is a good question. Allows them to build imagination for plays. Yep. Beyond reading is a way to read, exploration, and researching. Yeah, I love that idea. All right, 30 seconds. Don't hesitate, just type your idea and share it to everyone. 20 seconds. 15 seconds. Basic reading creates the interest of reading. Beyond reading, yeah, make inferences. I love that. Identifying ideas. Good. 10 seconds. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, thank you everyone for sharing. Improve, yeah, thank you. Improve grammar and structure. All right, let me share on the screen here. Have a look at the screen, everyone. So what is this? Basic reading that we focus on the foundation of the reading skills, often taught in the early years. But beyond reading, we read, we help the readers, we help our students to go deeper into the thinking, the critical thinking, the cognitive thinking, analyzing and responding to the text. So to my personal experience, okay, so however old they are, okay, so what years they are, how old they are, so we can still teach them to think. Yeah, that is an important thing. Besides help them to read, basically with the letters and words and phonics, something very like linguistics. Okay, so you can help them to explore more by asking the questions. And the key focus of the basic reading is recognizing the letters and sounds. For example, like phonics, okay? So in your classroom, you teach a, b, k, y, f, something like that. And you teach them the consonant cluster like, for example, like f, r, k, fro. Yeah, that is about phonics. And you also teach them how to decoding the simple words, like, for example, k, at, cat. That is how we teach them. And also in the basic reading, we help them to read simple sentences. I can see that like many of us, we help them read. Okay, the teacher read first, and then the student, they copy later, they repeat later. Okay, just like, hi everyone, repeat after me. Today I have a story, and your student repeat what you read. Okay, so reading simple sentences, and you help them to understand the literal meaning. So for example, after the reading, we also have some comprehensions part, just like who are in the story. Okay, what happened, what did they do, what happened then what happened next, and where did it happen? So the purpose of this question is just to check their comprehension. But okay, so as I can see that you share a lot of you share on the beyond reading. So we make inferences and prediction. For example, like if you read the story, so you will ask, if I were the character, if you were the character, how would you feel? Look at the character face. Do you think that the character is happy or not happy? And if you are the character, what would you do something different? Okay, and we can do some prediction. For example, like what happened next, do you think? Yeah. And in beyond reading, we also do with understanding the character. We go deeper into the character, the themes, and the author purpose to explore the implied meaning by the author. Okay, these help the student with the social awareness and beyond other, like some knowledge beyond the reading, beyond the story. And some of you share already. Before that, I can see that some of you share reading connect to writing. This is a very interesting part, and I really, really love this. I'm going to share you in the later slides. Yeah, and also some of you do with speaking. After reading, you have a discussion. You have like acting in the classroom or creating something creative with writing and speaking and critical thinking. So these are the beyond the reading, and especially relate to the personal experience of the world. For example, like after reading the story, how do you feel? This is how you teach a student make the connection between the text they read to themselves or recall about an experience. Okay, have you had the same situation like the character in the story? So I will focus more in the later part today. And the goal of basic reading is to help the student become accurate and fluent readers who can make sense of the simple text. Okay, the purpose is that just to understand the text. And the purpose of the beyond reading is develop higher order thinking and independent comprehension skills. And the purpose of this one is understand all ability, understand all personal characters, understand all experience by using the text. So now this is a question for you, and you can answer by yourself. You don't have to share anyone. Think about your teaching practice and where are you and what do you do in your classroom? You just teach only the basic reading, or you do beyond the reading, or do you do both of them? Yeah, can you spare 1 minute, think about your teaching practice and save it for later today in the part 4. You can share your experience. You're invited. Yeah, this is a good time for you to reflect about your old teaching. So if you have a tool, but do you use it effectively? Do you use it thoroughly? You have a very, very powerful tool like Graded Reader. If the principal is generous to buy you a set of Graded Reader and put it into your classroom, how are you going to use it? You just let the student read for fun, or you do teaching, teach them on the purpose. Yeah, mix the 4 skills together. All right, tea and coffee, everyone, and think about your teaching practice. Let's spare 1 minute only. Yeah, some of you can share on the chat box if you want to. It depends on the student level and their knowledge. Yeah, it's true. It's true. Yeah, for young learner, we have a different level of age, but we can do beyond the reading. Depends on the level and depends on their thinking. In different situations, we can differentiate. Differentiate is the techniques that we base on the student age, based on the student ability, and we make the reading appropriate to them. Almost teaching basic reading for my primary students, a little bit about advanced reading. Yeah, thank you for sharing. Read for comprehension, I give different tasks for different levels. I understand, yeah, because we are in different contexts. Because in Australia, I teach a student whose English is a first language. So beyond reading is usually integrated in the teaching. But the difficulty in your country, maybe English is the second language that you teach, and student, that's why you just focus more on the basic reading, teaching the skill for them. Okay, but today, after today, if you spark an idea that like bring something, bring some motivation to the reading. Okay, so if the students are motivated, they will do the reading, they will learn automatically, autonomy. So primaries are usually bored with questions from text because there are different level reading skill. Yeah, I love that. I love that idea. Okay, so actually, like we have the book, is it like we have the tool, but if we know how to use them, it's really great. Okay, and know how to engage a student is most important, and know how to build upskill their knowledge in reading and beyond the reading is really great. Yeah, okay, so in the next part today, I'm going to show you just share. Okay. I'm here to share, and I'd love to see your feedback and to hear your feedback, and love to listen your sharing as well. Okay, so we have practical ways to integrate readers into the teaching. If we got the books, if we got the graded readers, how can we put them into the classroom, and how to teach them, and how to make it effective for learning, especially English language learning? All right, could you spare 2 minutes? Looking at the two photos on the slide here. Okay, can you tell me the difference? What is the difference here? You are invited to share your thinking on the chat box, please. So we got two types of reading with the teachers. As a teachers, we are assistant. We are supported to help the student to improve their reading. Sorry. Yeah, could anyone please share in the chat box? Look at the two photos and tell me what are the different. Warm up before reading. Yeah, picture A, teacher reads and student listen happily. Picture 2, teacher and student read together. More engagement for the left class and the less for the right one. On the left, students relax. Keep going, everyone. Keep sharing, because we are here to learn to each other. Model reading. Yeah, the teacher is model reading. In the picture, one student just listen to the teachers. Pick one, only the teacher has a book. And pick two, the teacher and student have the same books. Yeah, okay, just spend the time to focus on describing the two photos. This is great. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for noticing. On the left, students pay attention to the teacher, and on the right, they read independently. Yeah, on the right, actually they read with the support of a teacher. Teacher reader, storyteller, student listener, receive. In picture 2, teacher is an instructor. Model reading guide. Yeah, good. Before reading, yeah, just only 2. I can see that just only 2 pictures, but different people, different idea, and different point of views here, different seeing. That is great. That is a diverse learning here. Thank you for sharing. Keep doing, everyone. Students and teachers are reading together. Okay, so that is the first question. Okay, so you described the two pictures, and now bring it to a more critical thinking. So now tell me, what practice do you prefer? Do you prefer the left one, picture number 1, or do you prefer the picture number 2? And which one does benefit for the students? A teacher reads which give less information to students, are written by themselves, identify reading words. Okay, yeah, it's about pictures. They just develop listening. They can enjoy reading, prefer number 2. Thank you for sharing. Okay, so yeah, which one? And think about your practice as well. In your classroom, did you do the whole group reading, or you do just a small group reading? And which one benefits for the student? All of them are so relaxing. Be it better. Choose number 2. Okay, love both of these way. Yeah. Okay, so both of the pictures, they have their own benefits. Okay, and I'm going to explain. You can do the whole class reading like that, or you can do the small group reading, and both of them have their own benefits to the student. And in my classroom, for the whole class reading like that, usually we do at the beginning, we introduce a book together. We pick a story that we can read together. And during this time, the whole class reading, the teacher show everyone how to like some like minor skill of the book. Yeah, but in the picture 2, so we do this because we want to focus on each individual. So the teacher will have good time, a good quality time to focus on the small group. They are in the same level. So imagine if you, in your classroom, your student, they have different levels. And if you read the whole class, some, okay, might see it appropriate to them. Some might think it too boring. Some might think it's like too difficult for them to understand. But if you go into the small group, it's going to be very individual to each learner. Develop into individual reading practice. That's right. Yeah, both of them are good. That's right. Okay, both of them, they have their own benefits. But for the purpose of this workshop today, we are going to focus on the picture number 2. Thank you everyone for sharing. And now I'm moving next. So before we teach them to read, okay, before the reading, can you ask yourself, okay, think about your child. Is your child ready to read? Okay, so can your student choose a book by themselves? Can they sit down and hold a book? And can they look at the book cover? Can they find the book information just like the title, the author, the illustrator? And then can they turn the pages one by one, or they just open it in the middle, or they just open at the end without purpose? And can your student look at the pictures in the book and say something about it? Can they point at the words and ask for your support to read the words? And can they read from left to right, not from right to left? So if your students, they are ready to read, okay, so you will move to this reading, okay. So, and the experience I'm going to share you today is the guided reading, okay. In the photo, it is a guided reading, okay. So do you have any idea about guided reading, guys? Guided reading, it is at the name it is. What does a teacher do, and what do the students do in this guided reading, and why? And why do we do guided reading here? And Have you ever used guided reading into your classroom? So do you have guided reading in your classroom, or is it a new concept to you? I'm happy to know. So if it is like totally new concept to your classroom, so I'm happy to spend more time to share about this one. Teacher gives a task before let the students, yeah. And feel free to share your thoughts in the chat. Sorry. New model pronunciation. Yeah. Okay. So that is the part of the reading. The teacher will do the pronunciation modeling. In the guided reading. Okay. So if you have experienced guided reading, what do you teach in the guided reading? Yeah, guided reading is just for the group. Okay, you know that in the group of in your classroom, we have different levels. Some students are very good at reading, but some students are really struggling. So that's why we divided them into different groups, and we have quality time in different groups. And each group will teach different level. We call that differentiation. Easy to get information. Yeah, I got a good idea here. The teacher support the student develop using strategies for progressing challenging vocabulary. So it means that like, because your students, most of your students are second language learner in English. So you mostly focus on vocabulary, grammar, sentences, pronunciation. Yeah, it is true. But also, don't forget about the beyond reading. So what skills do we teach to improve? And if you have the graded readers in your classroom, how do you use it effectively? Not just only teach the language, but also teach the other skills as well. And here we focus on the reading skills. So reading skill, we are more than pronunciation, more than vocabulary, more than grammar. We find the skill that help them to read independently. Okay, how? How to support your student to read independently? Self-reading. Okay, let me look at the time. All right, let me move on. So guided reading is a structured teacher-led approach. It means that the teachers will lead the group here approach to the reading instruction, where a small group of students, usually they are at the same levels or similar reading level, very close to each level, and reads a text together with the teacher support. So do you remember that the ZPD zone? If you want to help your student from struggling to independent reader, the teacher will support first. And after the support, we take away the support gradually. We reduce the level of support to build up the independence, to make them feel confident to read step by step. And later on, they will read by themselves. Okay. And the purpose of guided reading is to support, to put in the skill for the student, to support them to improve their reading by themselves. All right. And our purpose here to help them to reach the top. It means like independent reader now. So the purpose of guided reading is to help the student become confident, independent readers by providing targeted support, small group at their instructional level. Instructional level is mean that at the level they need to learn what they need to improve in this area. Do you remember the two circles, the green circle and the yellow circle? And instructional level is in the between, in the middle of the two circles. So we need to choose a book that is at that level so that they can not too easy for them, not too difficult for them. something that they think appropriate to build up their confidence to read and become independent readers. So the purpose of guided reading, okay, so it is help the student to become a better reader, as I told you, an independent reader. Okay, without a teacher, can your student read by themselves? And think about when they grow up, they have to read everything by themselves, no support at all. The only support they can have is themselves, or they use technology to support them to read. But, okay, so how do you build that from struggling to an independent reader? And I can see that, okay, most of you focus on teaching the vocabulary, teaching the grammar through the reading, but don't forget to teach them the reading strategies. And in the next few slides, I'm going to share my experience, my strategy to teach the reading. And I focus on that. Okay. The purpose of guided reading is also give the right book for the right level so that they feel appropriate. They think that it's appropriate for them to read and improve their confidence. And practice reading out loud, talk about the story, build independence. And this is the guided reading cycle. We start from the blue one, okay, the blue color. Before you let your student read, make sure that you know your student. You understand your student well enough. You know where they are, okay? What are they struggling? What are they good at? What is their strength? What is their weaknesses? And what do they need to improve? What support do you provide your reader, your student, so that they can improve? So you analyze data. Usually we do. At my school here in Australia, we use the PM assessment. We call it a running record. We have the student, we have an assessment to know which level the student is. And we identify the level so that we choose the right book for them to read. Okay. And if you don't have any assessment, you can use a previous guided reading, previous knowledge about your student, or a previous teacher note. Okay. So just try something, any source that you have the best knowledge about your reader, about your students. Okay. So first of all, analyze your student. And then you move to the green circle. It determines the learning focus. It's like what you want your student to develop. This part, you identify the area for development. So you determine that, like, do your student need more vocabulary? Do your student need grammar? Do your student need a reading strategies? For example, like if they struggle with reading a word, how can they read it by themselves? Okay, you think about your student and identify what they need to improve. And after you do that, okay, so you select an appropriate text. It means that you match your student to the level that they are with a text appropriate to level, not too easy and not too difficult, to address the learning focus. And you have a plan for them too. Yeah, okay, so the weekly program. It's not just like 1 day or 2 days that your student improve the reading. You have a good plan, a good teaching plan. Okay, what do you do every week for them? And what is your expectation? If you give them the book, okay, what do you expect them to improve? You need to have a success criteria. For example, like you give them this book, their main focus is like to improve vocabulary, and you need to set criteria just like I can read the word, I can know the meanings of the words in the book, I can have good pronunciation with that. Okay, so make a list of criteria for your student to follow that, and they set the goal for themselves as well. And you need to consider the relevant support as well. What kind of support? Okay, and choose the student. Which student need a lot of support? Which student need less support? If the student need less support, just let them be independent. Do not spend a lot of time. Okay, you use the time to focus on who need it most. And finally, you conduct a guided reading. After you know your student well, after you have a clear plan, you know who need what and who need who. Okay, you put everyone in different groups. Okay, we got usually in my classroom, I got 3 levels. So the low, the medium, and the nearly independent group. Yep. And then you conduct a guided reading. And in the guided reading, I would do before reading, during reading, and after reading. So now I will stop talking. I will zip my mouth now, and it's your time. Okay, so think about if you are about to conduct a guided reading session in your classroom, what do you do before reading, during reading, and after reading? Okay, I zip my mouth now. I'm not going to say anything, and please share. Okay, so now focus on before reading first. What do you do with your students? Okay, everyone, coffee, tea, and share.
Feel free to share your thoughts, everyone. We know that it takes a second to type, so please take your time. We'd love to hear from you. Don't be shy.
Thank you, Phương. Good morning, everyone. Okay, I know that you're very good experts in your classroom, and I want to learn from you. Come on. Yeah, I love that. Before, awesome. Yeah, we focus on before reading now. Teacher gives a topic, explain the task, unscramble letter, build a critical. Wow. Yeah, a lot here. Build critical thinking, review the old words, language patterns, and teach a new ones. Pre-reading, create questions about student to guess and answer. I love that. Yeah, okay, we call that prediction before reading. Teach vocabulary is very important. Some core vocabulary, some focused vocabulary that we need the student to know, we teach them. We call that front load. Front load them before they can read. Plans of reading, how many pages finished, vocab, lead in the warm-up. Before reading, picture walk. I love, yeah, picture walk and read the title, let them predict the story. Yeah, it's true. Picture walk is mean that like you have a look at the pictures and have the student do not read anything, just look at the pictures and ask the questions and make them predict the story. Make true or false statement. Can you be clearer about make true or false statement? What do you do before reading? Ask guided questions, monitor understanding. Okay, so monitor understanding. Okay, so maybe I use a word like reactivate the prior knowledge. Activate the prior knowledge means that like you check their understanding about the topic, check the understanding about what they know already, so that they can be ready for reading the text that is chosen. Topic goals. Give one activity to attract student to the topic. Yeah, what activity that you do to attract your students? Warm-up activity. Can you still hear me, guy? Yeah, okay, thank you. Gallery walk. Yeah, I love that. Before reading, introduce the topic using the pictures, video, short discussions. Give a warm-up about reading, which is very important. Yeah, so a warm-up, usually, if I want to introduce a book, I would gather everyone in a circle and show them the book they are going to read. And I do the fun things like, okay, look at the picture and what do you think the story is about? Okay, so what do you see in the book cover? If you have something more interesting, yeah, just do it. Alyssa's picture is a text. All right, let's move to the during reading. What do you do during reading? Thank you a lot of sharings. Okay, thank you everyone. I appreciate that, really appreciate that we build the knowledge together here today. Yeah, all of your sharing, there is no right or wrong, okay? We just learn from each other. Just feel free to share. Don't hesitate to share if you have an idea, because I can see that you shared a good point here. And what I do today is just to gather all of them to make it in a structured way. So that like after the workshop today, you have a picture of that. You spark an idea, you know what to do. Okay, I'm here just to put your ideas into a structure so that you can bring it home today. Yeah, teacher observe and support a student with pronunciation, phrasing, and comprehension. Okay, and don't forget to build their decoding strategies and comprehension strategies. Okay, so the teachers here just to give you remember that, like, do not give the student the fish, just give them the fish roll so that they can catch the fish by themselves. All right, our job as a teacher not to provide them knowledge. We provide them the tool, the powerful tool to catch the knowledge, to get the knowledge by themselves. Because when they grow up, when they go outside the world, they have to use the strategies to get the knowledge themselves. Yeah, during reading, make interactive. Have student read. Sorry, a lot of thank you. You're sharing a lot. I cannot read them all now because it's pop up, keep popping up. But I'm happy to see and to see it a lot here. Short. We should let them underline and difficult words and let them say, repeat those words during reading. It's very beneficial for students to improve reading. Thank you. Guided reading. Yeah, the guided reading through activities from simple to complicated in order to get the students' comprehension. All right. Okay, now keep moving. Just 1 more minute for after reading. I just want to know, how do you know about guided reading? So that, okay, in the next slide, I'm going to focus on the guided reading. What do I do during my guided reading? Yeah, because I know that some of you know the guided reading already, and you have a picture of it already. But some of you, this is a new concept in your country, because maybe you are newly graduated or you are a new teacher to the education here. So guided reading is a new concept for you to learn or for you to know. So I just want to know how many of you know it. Yeah, we are focused on after reading now. Ask the student to recall and tell in words. All of your answers are correct. Yeah, because you have different things, but after this one, I will gather everyone in one structure so that we have something to bring home today. Okay, thank you. Guide discussion of the reading. Ask the student to recall and tell their own words, important parts of the text. Offer student opportunity to respond the reading in various ways, including writing. I love that. Dramatic play, music, reader theater, videos, debate, and oh yeah, okay, all the good things. Okay. Yeah, after reading, in second language learning, English as second language learning, usually we check their comprehension, but yeah, think about something beyond the comprehension. What do you need to input your student? Okay, thank you everyone for sharing to save the time. Okay, we still have 1 hour left, but we still have just half an hour more, and then we have the question and answer. Okay, let me move on. Okay, so this is my example. This is my own experience. Okay, so maybe some of you find it suitable for your context to teach, but some of you think you have a different context. So just feel free to listen, and I'm happy to listen to your feedback at the end of today, and I'm happy to listen to your own story, your own teaching practice. Okay, thank you everyone. Before reading, the purpose of this part is that to build the background knowledge for the student, to set a purpose of why. Why do you need to read this book today? And what do you need to improve after you read this book? And prepare for the reading. What do you prepare? You might prepare like a grammar point or key vocabulary for the student, or prepare them something that they need to get them ready before they can read this book. Okay, so in this example, I'm going to choose The Frog Prince. This is one of the books from the series that I introduced before, the fairy tales created readers for the young learners, published by Education Publishing. And thank you, DTP and Education Publishing for allowing me to get this book for my example today. And I love this book. Yeah, thank you so much. All right, before reading, I usually get all the students in my group to review and predict the book. For example, I ask them to look at the book cover. This is the book cover you can see on the screen here, and ask them, what do you think about the story? Or what do you think this story is about? Okay, so now, can I assign Fung? You are my student now. Okay,
Yes.
can you turn on your microphone, Fung?
Can you hear me? Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So now pretend that you are my student now. Can you have a look at the book cover and tell me what do you think this story is about? And what do you see in this book, this front cover?
I'll try to eliminate all of my prior knowledge. Well, I could see that on the cover, the title of the book is The Frog Prince. So I guess it will have something to do with a prince. I could see a beautiful prince there, and a princess, or like maybe a girl who's like holding a frog very dearly. So I guess like she loves that frog, and then it will like turn into like a prince later or something.
Ah, yes, okay. So the frog, you can see that some magic stuff from the frog to become a prince.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So that is the prediction of the book. Ask the student. Okay. Engage the student by asking them to look at the book and tell what they see and what they think the book is about. This is the prediction. And also, you can activate the brighter knowledge by asking them. For example, Fung, can you tell me, do you know any fairy tales with a frog in them? Have you ever heard any story with a frog?
Yes, I think I've heard several stories. I think one story about like a frog prince. Or I guess it's I'm not sure if this books like tells a similar story for to what I've heard before or not. And then I've watched a video or like a movie about a frog prince before. I think it's made by Disney.
Yeah, okay, that's a good experience. Do you love that?
Yes,
Yes,
absolutely.
okay. Yeah, and today we are reading something similar with this one. And okay, so we need to move to activate prior knowledge. Okay, you get to know if the student understand something in the book that you intended before. Okay, now, can you tell me, have you ever heard of someone making a promise, and why is it important to keep promises?
Yes. Well, in my life, I think I've heard many people making promises, and I think it's very crucial that we keep promises because it shows our integrity and it shows that we are able to keep promises. I'm trying to answer as of well, how old am I now? 10 years
Mhm.
old?
Yeah, okay. Thank you for your sharing.
Yeah.
So that is how we activate. We get to know the student. Okay, we make sure that like ask some question to know that if they are ready, or to just quickly identify what they need to know about the book before you can help them to read the book. And then we focus on teaching the core vocabulary. We call that front loading. Front loading is meant to teach vocabulary, some important vocabulary in the book before we open the book. Yeah. Okay. And these are the core vocabulary. I get it from the book in a few last pages of this book. And this is the book that the student need to learn after they read the book here. So the teachers, you can show the picture, you can create poster, or you have a flashcard. So you help them to read first, okay? So prince, princess, palace, ball, well, frog, okay, all of them, you have an activity. So I know that you're teaching, you are very good at teaching vocabulary, you're expert at that, okay? You can think about different activities before you read the book. Some can do like matching activity, some can do drawing activity, or sketching activity that may be very engaging to spark and to hook the student into the reading. If they know this vocabulary in advance, so the book gonna be not very difficult for them to read. I'm going back to the slide before, and then I set the purpose. Okay, so I'm not sure that you do the learning intention. Make sure that you introduce the learning intention before you teach, so the student know what they are doing, know what they are going to do. For example, like today we are practicing making prediction using this book and thinking about the character challenges. Or if you focus on teaching vocabulary, you say, today we are going to learn some new word from the story, The Frog Prince. Or if you teach like some social awareness, okay, you can say, today we are going to find out how the frog becomes a prince and what the lesson the prince has learned and what can we learn from this book today. Okay, so set the purpose and introduce focus strategies. I'm going to focus on the last one, okay, so the strategies for reading. So during reading, we support reading, monitor understanding, and develop reading strategies. In my classroom, I have a group of students with the similar level. I give each of them one book and help them read quietly first, okay? And then they take turn individually. They will read and the teacher listen. Could anyone tell me why we have them read? Not the teacher read, but the student read. And the teacher just do the job is listening. Okay, could anyone share me why? I know in some ESL classroom, so the teacher read first and then the student will copy. The student will repeat after the teacher. Okay, but can we do that, like let the student read by themselves first and the teacher listen only? Could anyone share me why? Yeah, just feel free to share in the chat box, please.
I could see a few hands raised.
Yeah.
Feel free to share your ideas in the chat box, everyone. We'll be keeping microphones muted throughout the session for a smooth experience for everyone. So if you want to share anything, please pop them into the chat box. Yeah, I think ideas are pouring in.
Yeah, encourage the student to read so that they will gain confidence, receptive skill, absorb the story content by themselves. Action. Yeah, student read and find scan scheme for the idea. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Yeah, actually, so I let the student read, okay, and the teacher just quickly identify what do they need to improve. If the teacher talk all the time, that means that we reduce the time for the student. Okay, our job here just to support them. Okay, our job here just to identify the area that they need to improve. So let the student read first, and then we listen and we find what they need to improve. Okay, and make sure that you note the behaviors. Okay, behavior is not here that like misbehavior. The behavior in reading is mean that like, for example, they need to support with pronunciation. They need to support with phonics or something like that. Okay, you note down, and then you have the clear strategy, clear planning. Do you remember the cycle of reading? So after we note down, we reflect and we plan for the next teaching. All right. So when we do teach, we ask questions while we're reading as well. Make sure that every page we stop for a while and ask the student for comprehension and prompt some strategies. If your students struggle with the reading, you can help them by some strategies. And now I'm going to show you the strategies here. So these are the strategies that I use in my classroom. So, and I also have the printed version for the student. If your student is stuck on the word, what can they do? Do they always ask the teacher, can you read it for me? No, I would say no. If some student keep asking me, can you read this word for me? I will answer, can you do it by yourself, please? By teaching them the skill here. Okay, so we have some fun name. This is very popular. This one is very popular in Australia. And so most of the teachers use this strategy to teach the word for the student. For example, eagle eye. If you're struggle with word, you can look at the pictures and guess the word. Lips the fish. Make sure that you have your lips ready. Okay, so just try to say the sound, to make the sound out. Stretch his neck. Or stretch out the word. Okay, if you can read, if you cannot read the word, just stretch them out slowly, and faster and quick. Yeah. Or chunky monkey. Don't worry, I just introduced here, and then I will give one example for you guys. The chunky monkey, junk the word. It means that if the word is too long or too difficult to read, teach your student to break them into pieces. Break them into small parts so that they can recognize the similar sound, the sound that they know already, and they junk them. Okay, and skippy frog is mean that skip the word. Oh, after I try many times to read, but it still not make sense, just skip the word and keep reading. Don't worry about the word that I don't know. Okay, maybe if I keep move on reading, I will know the word later. Try and lion is mean that like teach your student, try it again, read it again. If we don't understand, try and try. And flip the dolphin, flip the vowel. So I will show you an example later. Meaning the bird, ask if it makes sense. If the word doesn't make sense, read it again. And helpful kangaroo. And the last choice, make sure that, okay, teach your student. The last choice is to ask for help, ask your teacher, okay? Do not train your student like every difficulty they encounter, and then they come straight away to ask the teacher for help. Teach them the strategy to support themselves first before they can ask for help. All right, here example, chunky monkey. This means that if your child look at the word, they do not know how to read it. Okay, so chunk them into the little part here. For example, the word princess. But if they don't know how to read the princess, they can do in says princess. Yeah, we make it in the small part. We call it chunking so that they can read it. Princess, princess. Example number 2, flippy dolphin, flip the vowel. As you can see that the red vowel, okay, so usually when we teach the alphabet, we say I. I. Okay, princess. After your student read it, okay, help them. Does it make sense? Princess. The princess it sound like doesn't make sense, and we use the dry line trying to read it again. Okay, change the vowel, flip the vowel, like not I. It must be E. In princess. Ah, yes, it makes sense this time. And then keep going to read. Or another example is the stretch his neck. Some students that are struggling with the word, what do you call that? Consonant cluster. Consonant cluster is like two consonants get together to pronounce a word. Okay, so just separate them and stretch them, and then we just like a rubber band. You know the rubber band, stretch, and then combine them together. For example, here, so some student may say a rock, a bog, a fog, but they do not sound it correctly. Okay, it should be frog, but some students say bog, fork, rock. Yeah, and we teach them how to chunk and then combine them together. For example, now say frog, frog, frog. Yeah, and then we do it faster. Frog, frog. That is a stretching. These are the decoding strategies. I'm just sorry that I don't have enough time today to go in details, but just to introduce you these strategies, which is very helpful to support the young learner to make it fun in their learning. Okay, so if you spend time teaching them these, and when they're struggling, you just remind them, hey, can you use chunky monkey to read this word? Can you use flippy dolphin to make this word? Or stretchy neck to read this word? They will know, and they apply the strategy. This is how we build their ability so that they can solve the problem themselves. All right, moving next is after the reading. So this is the most interesting part after reading. That I love this part a lot. Okay, I'm not sure that have you ever tried it for you guys. So usually we check for comprehension. We ask questions. We ask the student to summarize the question, to summarize the story, to retell the story. But beyond the reading, we have more interesting activity to do that help to make the connection between the text to the readers. Okay, so the first activity we can do is student reflect on the teaching. What do we do? For example, what was the main problem in the story and how was it solved? Usually we do this, yeah? Okay, the next one is you can integrate into the speaking activity as well. Discuss the text together. In a small group discussion, you can raise some questions for the group to answer the question. Why did the princess change her mind about the frog? Or if you find it's difficult to do in groups, you can do the whole class. Ask the question and the student to discuss and just like, yeah, to catch their curiosity as much as you can about the story. And next one, I love this part, is making connection. There are 3 types of making connection. So the first one is making connection to the book that they read, between the book and themselves. For example, after you read this book, think about your experience. Have you ever failed to keep a promise? Tell me the time that you failed to keep a promise. That is making connection. The second type of making connection is connect between this book and another book. All right, after you read this book, do you remember any book just similar to this book? Or after you read this book about the princess, this princess and Cinderella, or the other princess, can you compare the characteristics? So that is how they make connection between the text with text to make reading more interesting to them, engage them in the post activity, post reading, okay? Or making connection between the books with the word themselves. All right, for example, after reading this book, what do you learn from this book? And do you think this book is valid in your classroom? Is valid in your daily life? Do you think the values of the meaning here is that you need to learn? Okay, so help them to make the connection. And you can do the written, for example, like write a short paragraph or draw a picture, draw a scene from the story that you read. This is how you help them to spark their imagination now and to spark their visualization. All right. So after they read, what picture in their mind, and are you able to help them to bring the picture into the paper, into the writing, into the drawing? And more than that, okay, there are more fun things to do, that you do the creative extension. So we can like create a part of story, okay, and help the student to act the story, to perform the story, to create a comic strip, or to write a new ending. Something that to improve their creativity. Okay, if you were the character in the story, how would you do differently? Yeah, okay. And we give feedback. Don't forget to give feedback, because feedback is very important for their improvement. Okay, if they're doing well, just give them a praise. If they need some feedback, yeah, okay, show them what they need to do better the next time. And don't forget to record your observation, because this is important for your next teaching. You know your student, and the next teaching, what are you going to do next? Are they going to move up to the next level, or do you keep the same level for them to read? All right, just 10 more minutes, okay? Yeah, and this is the after reading activity for the ESL learners. Okay, I found this in the book, in the series. So, you know, like it's very interesting to see this one. It's good for ESL learner, because the activity is just very quick and short, and just, yeah, and they can do, they have different exercise, but easy to do and quick to complete, and really helpful for the English as second language learner, especially the young learners. Just have a look at this, and okay, just I will show it on the website. I'm sharing something to stop share here. Okay, and let's share the website here. Give me 1 sec, everyone. Yeah, as I say that, like, students are different type of learner. They are diverse learners. Some prefer the print test, but some prefer the audio. And we have an online version that have the audio here to support the learner. Okay.
The Frog Prince.
Yeah.
This is a story about a beautiful princess. She lives in a big and beautiful house. It's a nice palace. Let's see what she is doing now. She is playing with her ball. She loves her toys, and she loves nice things. She loves her ball a lot.
Yeah, okay, so this is good for audio learner or visual learner, because they need support. Consider that your classroom is the diversity classroom, diverse need. So they have different needs. And if they are interested in the source of resources, okay, make sure that you provide it in the classroom and make them accessible to your students. And also we have different, okay, if you want to highlight individual word or highlight the whole sentence, it can do it. Yeah.
Now the princess is sitting next to an old well. The well is next to the palace. She is playing with her ball. She throws the ball, but she doesn't catch the ball. The ball goes in the well. Now the princess can't get her nice ball.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, just quickly show you this pictures. This is the best part because remember, okay, when you were little and you just have only one option for the story learning, it just listen to your grandma or listen to your father. Okay, and now this generation, the young generation now is very lucky because they have technology to support them in their learning. Yeah. Okay. Make sure that we use technology to support the reading here. All right, I come back to my slide. It's nearly finished, everyone. Sorry, I stopped just here. Okay, and I just quickly show you some comprehension strategies. Okay, they are for the higher level. For decoding strategy, decoding strategies is for beginners, okay, for new level. But for higher level, you can apply comprehension strategies to support their reading. Okay, for example, after reading, you can summarize the story by showing them how to sequence first, next, then last. What happened at the beginning and what happened in the middle or at the end. All right, you can help them to build up their critical thinking by predict what happened next. Okay, use the picture information or their personal experience or their prior knowledge to ask them. Okay, using the clues in the book or using the clues in what they read to ask them what happened next. What do you think is going to happen? Or during the time that they read, they can make connection. I told you already, okay, have you failed to keep a promise to someone? And do you think that this character is similar to an experience that you experienced before? All right. Or visualizing. Visualizing is mean that like create the mental pictures or the senses during the reading. You know that, okay. So some people is very good visualizing. They can close their eyes and then they can see everything. So how about your student? Can you build that ability your student when they open a book, they can see a garden. They can see a beautiful garden. They can smell the flower and they can feel the air when they read. Are you able to help your student with that? Just spark an idea, okay? And questioning is very important here. So read and ask question all the time, okay? Not just the comprehension question. Remember the time when your father tell you the story, you usually ask why, and how come? How can we do it? Okay, so that is when you develop your cognitive and critical thinking. And now it's the same. You teach your student to question, not just wait for somebody to ask the question. They ask themselves. Yeah, questioning or synthesizing to raise the social awareness or perspective or the culture. This is beyond the reading. So what message that you learn from the book? Or inferring. Inferring is mean that like you understand the implied meaning behind the character, behind the purpose of the book. Just like you explore the feeling of the character or the event. For example, how would you feel if you were the frog? How would you feel if you were the frog and somebody did not keep their promise? Yeah, okay. We go deep into the character, the theme, and the event and the story. Yeah, okay. I just show you quickly the strategies. And if you are interested, please spend your own time to explore these. And here, yeah, I just quickly show in my classroom. Okay, this is the pictures that I got on the internet, not my classroom, because I'm not allowed to take the photo. But okay, so in my classroom is similar to this. So we got like we create opportunity for students to have a chance to make access to the book. Yeah, we have a small library in each classroom. We got shelf, we got different books. You can see that like we have different genre, different types of book, like book about people, book about school, books about social and emotion, books about fiction and non-fiction, and animals and science, and different topics for them to read, because different students, they have different interests. So if you have different books in the classroom, that would be great. Or if you want to focus on their reading level, you can have level book or created reader. You can put created reader, like I mark it here, like level 13, 14, 15 to different levels in there. And if students, they know the level, they can go to that area, they pick the book that appropriate to the level and to improve their reading. Okay, so this is how we build the independent skill for reading for the students. They have the library in the classroom. And the reading schedule. So we got like every morning, I teach year 3 and year 4. Every morning when they come to classroom, they put the bag into the locker and they sit down for 15 minutes, grab any book. Yeah, grab any book or the book at the level for reading. So don't think it's a waste of time to let them read, because even though they do not really read, they just look at the picture, look at the photo or the illustration in the book, it is still reading. Because when they look, they spark some idea for themselves for the day. Yeah, okay, so 15 minutes every day, that's really help. And if your student need to support with the level, yeah, you can use the created reader, show them what level they are and what books they need to read, and just sit down for 15 minutes and engage them every morning like that. And at our school, we also have like one period, 45 minutes to go to the school library. We got in-class library, just a small, but if that's not enough for your student, we bring them to the school library and sit there for one period, the whole class, okay? So they can grab any book they like and sit down and practice reading. This is how we build their good habit, okay, good habit for reading or their skill by themselves. Or early finisher, you know that in your classroom, the same lesson you teach, but some students, they complete the work, they get the work done very quickly, and they have nothing to do. And when they got nothing to do, what do? What do you think they are doing if they have nothing else to do? They are going to go around, yeah, make noise, they chat, they talk. And they go around the classroom, they disturb. That's right, yeah, okay. For early finisher, it's really helpful if you assign them, okay? If you finish early, you can go to the classroom library, sit down, and grab the book to read, okay? Give them something to do, meaningful. Yeah, give them something to do meaningful, not doing something that not useful. Okay, so early finisher can be beneficial to the created reader. This is their time. All right, and in Australia, we also have the reading book bag to send home. Every week, we have a bag like this, and you can see that we got the name in it, and we got the level that the student, and we send it home. Okay, why do we send it home? Because some parents, they might be interested in reading the book together, but they cannot find any resources, good resources, and really expensive. You know that book is really expensive to nowadays, and some parents, they cannot afford it. Okay, so that's why school sends some book home, and you know that like the meaningful time between parents and children is good when we do reading together. All right, and can you imagine that, like, if you put the graded readers into the book bags like this, appropriate to their reading level, they can bring it home and read it their parents. That's a lot improvement. All right. So that's why we do it every week for the students. And when they finish reading the book, they bring the book back and return it to the school library or return it to the teachers. Or maybe they can swap the book with the other friends. Okay. Make sure that like parent is also the part of education. Okay. So parent is not outside of the education. Parents must be involved in the learning of their child. They must be responsible for child learning. Even though they cannot read English. I know that in your countries, many parents, they cannot read English and they have difficulty with reading English, but they can still sit next to their child, encourage them to read or help the child to explain. Or if they struggle, they can use the online platform that I showed you before. We have audio, we have pictures that the parent can support them in that way. The parent, they don't need to read for their child. They just show their child or support their child to read. Okay, that is how we improve the literacy in Australia here. And yeah, before we finish for today, I got case study. So this is like, yeah, this is the online reading that I do during the COVID time. Do you remember the COVID time? Students cannot go to school. They could not go to school. And we have to do some online. And yeah, okay, so these students in the video I'm going to show you, they are from Vietnam and I was in Australia. So I just do a free activity for them. But like, just give you an example, spark you an idea how to engage with the student. Even though it is in an online reading, but the student is still engaging here. I don't say that like, I'm very an expert in this activity because that is 5 years ago. But maybe that can be helpful in your context. You can spark new ideas in your context. All right, let me show you. Now, okay, so we are not going to watch a whole video because it's 30 minutes. Just a few, just a short minutes. Ooh, slow.
Maybe yes.
Yeah, maybe yes. All right, maybe yes. Can you hear the video?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, thank you. It's a no. So we can see this is a monkey, okay? Right in the middle of the picture, we have a monkey. So what is a monkey doing? So yeah, I forgot to introduce you the student. So these are just kids. They some in different levels. Okay, some did not learn English before, but some is good at English already, and they are all in Vietnam. Uh-oh, sorry. Where is it? He is hiding his eye. He's hiding his. So we can see this is a monkey, okay? Right in the middle of the picture, we have a monkey. So what is a monkey doing? Ken, what is a monkey doing?
Don't know.
All right, Mr. Egg, what's the monkey doing?
I don't know.
He is hiding his eye. He's hiding his eyes. Okay, he's closing his eyes. So it's the monkey. What are they playing? What are they playing?
And tea.
Very good. Okay, so thank you for that. Okay, so we have high.
Hi, to a
All right. And
monkey.
see. So they are playing hide and seek. Who is hiding or who are hiding?
All the animals.
Yeah, the animals are hiding. Okay. Who is seeking?
The monkey.
Yes, the monkey is seeking. So now look at the book title. Look at the title of the book and tell me what is the name of the monkey.
Max.
Yes.
Big teacher, I know.
And yes.
I from that monkey.
Yeah, the monkey. Yeah, okay. So the name of the monkey is Max. Max is the monkey. Monkey is Max. Yes. So you also look at the book and tell me who wrote the book. Who was the author of the book? So who wrote the book?
It's Tom Holden.
Very good. Yeah, okay. So is it Alex? Yeah. So Tom Holden is the person who wrote the book and who drew the picture. We have Jacqueline is the person who drew the picture. Okay. So that's it. The author and illustrator of the book. Yes. And do you understand? Okay, so when the teacher is talking, and when I'm reading, okay, you need to listen. Koala, sorry. Yes. Yeah, just skip a little bit. Oh, we did not just focus on the part that I did.
Yeah.
All right. This is not a koala. This is not a koala. This is a hippo. And it was not a frog. What animal is this?
Turtle.
This was not a frog. It was not a koala. Sorry. Yes. Okay. So the monkey is counting. Okay. So the animals went to hide.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
And what did I say? Okay, so when the teacher is talking. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, okay. And that is like before and during. And yeah, I think that like, and after the reading, I just asked the student to retell, to summarize, and what did they learn from the story. And that is the structure. This is a video that I created. I did it in the COVID time. Yeah. Now it's not really a perfect example for today, but hopefully that like this video can spark you an idea for your teaching using the guided reader in your classroom and apply this knowledge. Don't worry about the slide today because we are going to send you the slide later for your references. Okay, yeah, that's all of my presentation. All right, okay, so I give it back to Ms. Phương Nguyen. Hi, Phương.
Yes, I've just shared my screen. All right. Yes, thank you very much, Mr. Taidon, for your insightful presentation. We truly appreciate your sharing. Now, I would like to invite you to stay with us as we move into the Q&A session. This is a great opportunity for our audience to ask any questions and that they may have and gain further insights from your expertise. Just a quick reminder for everyone, if you have any questions, please type them in the chat box. Or you can use the Q&A box as well. This will help our team manage the questions more efficiently and ensures that we don't miss any during the session. So let's begin our Q&A session with the first question we've received. how do you place students into different reading levels? Mr. Taidon, I know that you touched on this briefly during your presentation, but could you share a bit more detail on how this works in practice, especially for teachers who may be new to using graded readers? Yeah, how could we place students into different reading levels?
Yeah, okay. So this is a real thank you for your question. This is a great question, and I'm very happy to answer this one. So before I came to Australia, when I do teaching reading, I teach a whole class. Okay, usually we do a class of like more than 30 students in our classroom back in Vietnam. And yeah, okay, so I did the same lesson to everyone, but I did not recognize that like we have different level in the classroom. So maybe like some students find it easy, but some students really struggling to understand the text. And when I came to Australia, I just figured out we need to differentiate. Differentiate is like we do different levels for different students. Okay, and how do we know the student in different level? So at the beginning of the term, we do assessment. We have a PM assessment I told you before, that it is a series of book that we give to the student, and then they read, and when we do the running record. And after we got the level, we divide them into main three, usually to three main levels. If you get four, because I know that maybe in your classroom you have like around 45 or 50 students. Okay, so you can do like 3 or 4 groups, and not necessary that they in the same level. They just close level to each other, like similar, because you know that like student not only learn from teacher, student can learn from their peers as well. So if you put them into a similar group, okay, and then we have the different level group, and make sure that you have a clear plan. So in this lesson today, what group do you focus? And in the next week lesson, what group do you focus? Because you don't have enough time to focus all of the groups in 1 period or 2 periods a week. So we have a plan. So, and the purpose of the guided reading is not to support them everything. We just support them the tools, the skills that they can explore the knowledge themselves. Okay, so this week you work with level 1, next week you work with level 2, and the other week you work with level 3, and make sure that every time you work with this any groups, you provide them enough tools so that they can work by themselves. Okay,
Thank
hope
you
this
very
one
much.
answer. Yeah.
Yes, thank you very much. That's very insightful. And here's another great question. This comes from Fawn from Edway International School in Cambodia. Please kindly share with me how to encourage the students to read books in English and how to support them to be active with their reading as a hobby. Mr. Taidon, we'd love to hear your thoughts on building reading habits and motivation among students.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, you, hi Phil. Okay, thank you for reading the question, but like just remind me slowly each word.
Yes.
So, yeah.
She says, please kindly share with me how to encourage students to read books in English and how to support them to be active with their reading as a hobby. So maybe I think could you just share your thoughts on like helping students to build their reading habits and increase their motivation to read for pleasure, especially.
Yeah, okay. So I believe that every teacher they have different skill to motivate and encourage teachers. I myself, I teach at a special school where my students they have autism and Down syndrome. They have special need. They're struggling in learning a lot. And every morning I get them read 15 minutes. But like usually I say like, okay, so first reading, and then after that we got fun activity to do. Make sure that you have like work and reward. Yeah, okay, first work and then a dance song. First work and then treat, special treat or little treat for them. So that's in that way I encourage them to like, okay, slowly make them into the joy of reading. So, okay, now I know that the book is really, really difficult for you to read, but today, can you just only sit 5 minutes for me and look at the picture? Open the book and look at the picture only. You don't need to do anything. Just look at the pictures and tell me what you think. And when they are very okay, so very good, and you mean like very familiar with the activity, like look at the picture, you can increase the time later. So today we spend 10 minutes looking at the pictures and point at some words that you don't know, okay, and tell me, and I can support you. And later on, slowly, okay. So my recipe is that we go from simple to advanced. Give them something easy to do first, and when they get used to it, they get bored with it, challenge them. Give something more difficult to do, and that's how I build them slowly a habit. Okay.
That's
Yeah, what
great.
else? Yeah.
Yes, that's great. I really love the work and then reward concept. And I think in that answer, you have already briefly touched on like and answer the question from Adnan, who asks like, how do you deal with weak learners? I think you've kind of briefly answered that already. So let's move on to another question. I can put the questions in the chat box so
Yeah.
that everyone could see. Um, this is a simple yes or no question from a participant in Vietnam, I think. She asked, should the warm-up activity in a reading skill lesson include vocabulary related to the reading passage?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So as I can show you before that, like before you read, yeah, you can activate the prior knowledge, the previous knowledge. So the purpose of this one is to check if the student is ready to read your text, ready to read your passage. So the vocabulary activity can be good one. Okay, depends on your skill, depends on the technology you have. You can design it differently, like drawing or Kahoot. I'm not sure that you know the Kahoot. It can be a fun activity to do, or maybe the flashcard, the symbol flashcard can help a lot. And by that way, okay, you know that the student need, okay, I know the teacher, as a teacher, you know where the student is, but like for the new text, okay, you know, introduce a vocabulary before the reading is a way that to help with the knowing your students. Should the
Yes,
warm-up
thank you
activity
so
in reading
much.
skill lesson? Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much. That answers the question.
Sorry, I missed the question here. Yeah, okay, she said include vocabulary related to the reading passage. And I said that to my experience, I just teach them the core vocabulary, not all of the vocabulary, okay? So we do not provide them all the vocabulary and give them the meaning. We just teach them the difficult one, because the one we know that's one they are going to struggle when they do reading. We teach them in advance. Okay, for the rest, just leave it to them. They are going to use the strategies to get the meaning by themselves, not the teacher.
Yes, thank you so much. We have another questions. This question is quite long, so I've put them. Actually this participant gave us 2 questions. It's
Yeah.
quite long, so I put it in the chat box for everyone to read. With the first question, he says reading independently is crucial for all levels. Motivating students to read independently is the teacher and parents' jobs. My concern is how can we reduce students' reliance on Vietnamese translation and AI tools such as ChatGPT to complete B1 to B2 level reading tasks at home? I've already set rules and obtained their commitment, but they still depend on AI for answers. This is quite a relevant question, especially as you know we are moving into the AI era. So yeah, could you give us some advice on how we could reduce our students' reliance on, especially like translation. I guess in this context, our participant is from Vietnam, so the students are like mainly relies on like Vietnamese translation from like English to Vietnamese. And then the second thing is like relying on AI tools. Yeah, you have any advice on that?
Yeah, okay. So this is a great question and very interesting questions. And okay, so to my personal view, the point, I do not restrict student to any opportunity to learn. For me, I believe that like technology bring opportunity for student to learn. I myself learn English by using technology as well. So I did not like because when at my time, okay, so we didn't have a lot of school education center to learn English. So mostly I learned from laptop and DVD or CDs. Okay, and nowadays technology is very advanced and developed. So ChatGPT is a good tool for a student to learn. But as educator, we need to show them, okay, so what is the right thing to do? Yeah, okay. So we educate them to use technology responsibly and to use it correctly. So do not, yeah, I know that many after they use it rely a lot, but the only way that we can do it like keep encouraging. But I'm sorry that like my context is different because like my student they are in the background of like special needs student. Okay, so they do not use technology a lot, so this is the situation that like I don't usually encounter, but in your context I would think about this question later. Okay, I'm sorry I cannot answer this thoroughly, but for me, yeah, okay, so if you cannot stop them using the technology, so you think about a better way for them to use technology responsibly. Okay, build them strategy to support their learning, not relying.
Yes, absolutely. We'll make note of this question and if possible, share a follow-up response after the webinar. Thanks for flagging that and thank you, Mr. Thai, for your openness. We have another question from Ngọc Thuận Phạm from the chat box. She says, the only problem preventing my students from reading is the difficulty. Let me put it in the chat box again. Is it? Oops, I lost the questions. Oh yeah, here it is. She says the only problem preventing my students from reading is the difficulty of understanding or guessing academic vocabulary. These words may be too far from their knowledge background to understand. Is there any tips or strategies to help them, I guess, to understand difficult word or like academic words?
Okay, did you put it in the chat box?
I think I did. No, I pasted the wrong one. Let me paste it again.
Because I don't want to miss any ideas in that, honey.
Yes, yeah.
After I answer, I will read it again, and if I miss anyone, I will add up.
It is.
So the
So I
only
guess-
problem preventing my student from reading is the difficulty of understanding or guessing academic vocabulary. These words may be too far from their knowledge background to understand. Okay, is there any tip or strategies to help them? So, like, yeah, my strategy is like before we can before we read a book, we need the teacher, okay, themselves. We need to familiarize ourselves with the text we are going to teach. We should know the text we are going to teach, and we should know that like this text is appropriate to the students. And then we pick out the vocabulary, pick out the word, and we front load them. We teach them in advance. In this way, you cannot. I know that like some very far. That's why you need to choose appropriate book for your student. You put them into the right level. As I said, like we have different groups in the classroom and combine them into the similar level, not necessarily in the same level. Similar level is okay, and then they can learn from their peers. let them time, let them give them like an opportunity to learn from peers as well. And you can provide them different tools. Just like in my classroom, I have like pictures, visuals, or poster, or something that they can explore by themselves. All right. I know that teacher, we don't have time to cover all of the students in the classroom, but just provide them something. Okay, provide them something that they can see. So that's why in our classroom on the wall, on the wall post, we have a lot of things on there, because we know that sometimes the students look at it and they remember it better than listen to the teachers.
Yes, thank you so much. Wow, we're receiving so many great questions. Thank you all for your enthusiasm. While we may not have time to get to every single one, we'll try our best to cover. But I think due to time constraint, I think we have like time for like one last question. This one comes from a participant who sent a question in the Q&A box. She asked, and this, I think this question would be relevant to many like English teachers that are present here today. She asked, what are some fun and easy to remember tips for teaching students how to do true or false or yes, no, not given reading tasks? Well, Mr. Tai, I'm not sure if like in Australia, while you're teaching like reading skills, you let students do true or false or yes, no, not given type of questions or not. But in Vietnam, like as we teach them English as a foreign language, we often do this kind of activities. And I was wondering if you have any advice on some fun and easy to remember tips for teaching students, to improve their reading skills through this kind of exercise.
Okay, thank you for this question. It's really interesting to make connection between the two different contexts. So I know that like first English as first language teaching and English as second language teaching are two different contexts. Here, after the reading, we usually develop the student creative skill, just like they produce the language after they read, Okay, we do writing, we do drawing, we do talking about, we do discussion. Okay, and while in your countries, maybe you do like comprehension, yes, no, true, false. That is a different context, just let you know. And the different context as well, like my special needs student, they are like in very like basic level, okay, not in the high level. So that's why I don't usually do like true, false, yes, no in my classroom. We just do like drawing and write a short sentence or a short paragraph about what you read, or you can do the presentation or create something, create a graph and talk about it. Okay, that is how we do in the classroom. We focus more on their creativeness. Okay, everyone read one book. Okay, everyone, you remember like everyone read one book, but each they have different views of point. They have different thinking in the brain. And what we are doing is we try to bring what is inside the brain onto the paper, and that we can see it. And if it's like good, we encourage them to do more. And if it is like need to improve, we will correct them, Okay, and what are some fun and easy to remember tips for teaching students how to do true, false, or yes, no, not? So in here in the classroom, we got each student, we got iPad. I know that like technology might be available, might not be available, but in our classroom, we got iPad and we use Kahoot. I'm not sure that I'm typing the word Kahoot. So many of you know Kahoot already, but if it is no, it's good for you to do this. This is a fun thing to do because it is on the big screen and each of them can answer, they can choose answer by choosing the color, look at the pictures, or listening to the question and choose, and very responsive in a way. I don't know how to explain it, but like I just type the word Kahoot and you explore it, and it's easy to remember for them, because make sure that like learning is fun, and when it is fun, the student remember is longer.
Yes, that's a great point. Yes. gamification is a great way to help students to remember, key points from the lessons. And yeah, Mr. Tai mentioned Kahoot. There's other many other websites that you can use to gamify your lesson as well. We have Kahoot, Blooket, and Quizy. Other things, yeah, so many great website that you can use. So yeah, thank you so much everyone for the fantastic questions. We would like to extend our heartfelt thanks to Mr. Taidon for his insightful sharing and for leading us through such an engaging Q&A session. Your expertise and thoughtful responses helped truly enrich today's webinar, leaving us with valuable takeaways to reflect on and apply. And we hope this Q&A session gave you some valuable takeaways and practical ideas to try out in your own classroom. With that, we'll now wrap up the Q&A and move towards the closing of our seminar. So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, before we close, may I kindly remind you to complete the feedback form. Your thoughts and suggestions are greatly valued and will help us improve future events. Your e-certificate and sample materials will be sent to your email upon the successful submission of the feedback collection. So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, that brings us to the end of today's workshop. On behalf of the organizing team, thank you all for your active participation and engagement. We hope you found today's session informative and inspiring. We would also like to take this moment to sincerely thank Ms. Sofofoni Thongsavan, Managing Director of DTP Education Solutions Laos, Dr. Puthi Touch, Managing Director, DTP Education Cambodia, and Mr. Francis Strand, Training Manager, DTP Education Solutions, and of course, our wonderful speaker, Mr. Taidon. Thank you once again for your insightful presentation, your engaging presence, and the practical wisdom you've shared with us all today. So thank you, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in from wherever you are in the world, and we wish you all continued success in your teaching journey. Have a lovely day, everyone, and see you next time. Goodbye, everyone. Thank you so much.